What it do, baby? It's MOONKID Max back with another episode of MOONKID Max's reviews and reactions. Welcome. The Book of Clarence, that's what we're reviewing today. Hop right into it. I first want to give props to director James Samuel because it's a period piece. It's a lot harder to do period pieces. Could just do something in modern time and it'll be a lot less stress. So I give props to that brother for doing a period piece. His previous movie, The Harder They Fall, was a Western. This one is a biblical epic, and I also think it's cool how James Samuel incorporates black people into period pieces where we're normally excluded. I've never even thought about watching a movie in the biblical times of black people, and then when I saw this trailer for this, I was like, oh, y'all don't call me slow or nothing, y'all, but I was like, damn, we did exist back then, so yeah, it's dope to see us. I didn't even think about black people in biblical times, man. I feel like it's dope that he did that. Set design and the costume design are top tier. That's definitely a highlight of the movie, somewhere where I give him mad props. Whoever was the costume designer, the set designer, the cinematography was great. The beautiful shots of the desert or Sahara or whatever, those grasslands and the Roman cities and the biblical cities. They had the party spots where people was going to smoke weed and all that. It was funny. One of Clarence's, the main character's boys, every scene this brother was smoking a joint, bruh. It was mad funny. But yeah, so they mixed the modern kind of swag with the old school. All in all, while I feel like it wasn't executed to a 10 out of 10, I give them props just for having the gall to. And I think that the concept of the story in general of following someone who was a false messiah, and instead of we always follow the story of Jesus, we follow get a whole personal account of a person who was a false messiah leading up to their crucifixion. And it made me realize yeah, Jesus wasn't the only one up there. Mad people were getting crucified at the time. So it was I think that's a highlight of the movie, is just the concept in itself. I was indifferent on having the cast be all black. Mary Magdalene was black, Jesus' mama and daddy, Joseph and Mary, was black, John the Baptist was black, Jesus was black. And I don't know if that's historically accurate. I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, no disrespect to that community of people. I'm of the belief that I don't think Jesus was black or white. I think in his human form he was probably olive skin, middle tone. I'm of the belief that Jesus was Middle Eastern or Arab or Israeli or something like that. I don't think he was black or white. And I'm not fully informed on that. I should probably inform myself more. But as a black person, I know a lot of non-black people were triggered probably, but I thought it was cool to just see a Jesus story with a bunch of black people. I ain't even gonna hold you, man. So I thought it was good, but I can see how others would be triggered by that and think that it's not historically accurate. Therefore, they won't even want to give this movie a chance. So while I did find it interesting that the concept was dope and that it was starring black people, I think all in all, I'm gonna get into my criticisms of the movie. I think that, in my opinion, there were pacing issues, and not to the point of where I was falling asleep at parts or anything, but I was definitely highly engaged on some scenes and very lowly engaged on other scenes, and kind of looking alright, is the movie coming to an end now, or that kind of thing. When you sit in the movie, you start getting antsy, you start checking the time and stuff. I was doing that with this movie, and not just because I didn't enjoy it, but I just felt the pacing was a little off and the story wasn't hitting as clean as I think it should have, or it could have. Spoilers, but the reason I don't think the story could have done it didn't reach its potential is because by the end of the movie, I still didn't know what Clarence's purpose was. And the whole movie builds on this of this man who doesn't have purpose. He's trying to find his purpose. A lot of people think he's an ancient type of nigga I'm trying to censor myself, but a lot of people think that. So Clarence is on this journey to just prove that he is going to be somebody. He's going to be something more than just a dude that sells weed. And at the end of the movie, he finds Jesus. He believes in Jesus. That's kind of alluded to even in the trailer, so I don't think that's crazy of a spoiler. But he has no purpose still. So my interpretation is that, is it only important that you just believe in Jesus and you don't need a purpose per se? Jesus is the purpose. I was just like, dude, so what's Clarence gonna do? He don't got no skills, he don't got no passions or nothing besides I'ma just be something. I'ma be something. And that was my issue with the movie. Or maybe I missed the mark and I need to see it again because I misunderstood, or y'all can help me out in the comments. But if you think I'm like, you agree, let me know as well. Like, what was his purpose besides just wanting to be something and wanting to be more than a scammer and drug dealer, basically? There was this line in the movie where Clarence said, "I don't believe, I know." And I think that was, I guess, the point of just, when you think about like modern day people who believe in science, they don't believe in faith. Clarence was like one of those modern day people, and it wasn't until he saw Jesus's miracles firsthand and like had these encounters with Jesus himself that he like became a believer. And he said, when someone asked him if he believed in Christ, he said, "I don't believe, I know," because he saw it firsthand now. And that was like supposed to be an impactful line. I think if you want to like think deeper or decipher it, it can be. And you know, that was a big hot topic around the movie of, is this movie blasphemous? Is it blasphemy, or is it a like good Christian take on a story? Or even though it's fictional, does it have a good message and ideology and like purpose? I know that the people behind it were like not intentionally making a Jesus story, and it's definitely not a Jesus story. It's a story about Clarence. But at the end of the day, they did recognize Jesus as the all-powerful Messiah, and he was the one. And that's why I don't think it's a blasphemous movie, because Jesus is still the message. And while there isn't as much energy put onto the story of Jesus, because it's not Jesus' story, I guess, it's still there. Getting into the stars of the movie, I think Lakeith Stanfield did a great job. I've been becoming more and more of a fan of his. I really enjoy the roles that he takes. My favorite Lakeith Stanfield character is Darius in Atlanta. My favorite Lakeith Stanfield character is Darius, man. Darius, man, that dude used to crack me up on Atlanta. So eccentric and wild. But yeah, I think that he carried the movie well, and I'm seeing people criticizing him a little bit or whatever on why is he's not like on that trajectory like Jonathan Majors was on, for example. Why are people not projecting him to be at that level? And I personally don't know, because I was like, man, every time I see this brother, he killing it. So hopefully he gets his mainstream break and he'll start getting the recognition that I think he deserves. And yeah, Lakeith did its thing, man. He held it down. Really enjoyed RJ Cyler. He didn't have a lot to do, but he was kind of like the smoky sidekick type character, and he always brought good energy and vibes to the screen whenever he was there. So I really enjoyed his character. James McAvoy, that brother was funny. He cracked me up too. James McAvoy was a Roman, like what is it called, lieutenant or something? I can't think of the name. He was a Roman soldier, like the head Roman soldier, and he played that role really well. Benedict Cumberbatch, everybody's talking about his little cameo, which is it's a little more than a cameo, but like they incorporate him into the movie well. So yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but you'll see everybody been talking about that before. I was like, can't be that good. And I saw it, I was like, oh man, that is good. And the last star for me was the brother Omar Sy. I didn't know who he was, but he played Barabbas. Yeah, we gonna just ignore that. He played that role. He was basically the muscle for Clarence, and every time that dude was on screen, man, he was cracking me up. And James Samuel, the director, is a star. He did his thing. Even though it's not a perfect movie, I really enjoyed The Harder They Fall, so I was excited to see this when I heard about it, and he did not disappoint. Even though it's not a perfect movie, I think he did his thing still, and I'm looking forward to see what he does in the future. Alright, y'all, so that's MOONKID Max's reviews and reactions. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. We gonna go out now.